Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and this is part 2 of the Halloween journal that I'm working on. Here I have a piece of 12 by 12, really good quality chipboard that I've had in my stash for a while. So I'm going to trim this down for my covers, for my book board. I'm using it as book board, I guess you would say. And so I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to the height that I need. If you would like to know specific measurements, let me know in the comments below and I will give you those. But this is going to be the front cover, back cover, and the spine. So here I'm just kind of trying to determine how wide of a spine I want and need for this signature. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do one signature or multiple signatures. I intended to do one and keep it simple, but I noticed that that signature seems a little bit bulky. So, but here I am trimming down this piece for the spine. And this is a pretty thick chipboard, so it takes a little elbow grease to trim it, even with the Precision paper trimmer, the heavy duty paper trimmer. But I was able to do it. Here I'm just making sure my pieces line up. And I'm going to take a piece of tyvek to secure my spine onto the front and back. The tyvek is also good to make sure your journal doesn't fall apart. It doesn't tear or rip. Here I am using some of this Yes paste that I've had in my stash for a long time. I wasn't quite sure that it was still any good, but it seems like it's working good. So I'm going to use it. The reason I stopped using it is because it's just so sticky, but I'm getting over that. I need to use this and it works. It doesn't warp. And for something like Tyvek, which is kind of difficult to stick down to things, I thought this was a good option. Wet glue works with Tyvek, but I don't know, it leaves wrinkles and it's just too wet. But the Yes paste seems to work really well. And I'm just using an old gift card to spread it, so that is not a real Visa. It's very old, and yeah. So I'm just taking my pokey tool to hold the Tyvek in place instead of using my fingers, because this Yes paste is no joke. Once it gets on you, it's on you, and it is, yeah, it works really well though. Even though it's sticky, icky, it works really well. And I have a piece of wax paper underneath that I'm working on to protect my surface. So I'm closing up my paste and putting my card out of the way. And I don't know why I did this way. I should have just laid the Tyvek down and laid the pieces of chipboard on top. But for some reason, I felt the need to lay the Tyvek on top of the chipboard. So it would have been easier to do it the other way though. But I'm making sure my chipboard is lined up. And I'm going to lay down this Tyvek with the Yes paste. Trying to get it straight. And I'm just using my ruler to make sure that my pieces of chipboard are straight. And I see my Tyvek is a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to kind of slide it up and make sure everything is even. So I'm just making sure every little bit is laying down as far as the Tyvek on the chipboard. I've got Yes paste on my hands, but it's not that bad. So I'm just checking to make sure that my spacing is right in between the spine and the front and back. Then I have this medical tape that I've had for a while and it's not being used. So I decided to try it out. Here as another step in protecting the spine area, the fold. So I know some people use the medical tape instead of the Tyvek, but I want to try it and see how it does. So far it's okay, and I'm just burnishing it down, making sure that it is down well. I probably should have used another glue underneath just to make sure that it sticks, but so now I am using a piece of packing the brown paper that they put in packages. I'm using a piece of that, and I'm just using my ruler to trim it down closer to the size of my journal cover. So now I'm just balling it up because I want to have a wrinkled look on my cover. So I'm balling it up, back with the wax paper. So I was just making sure there was no wet yes paste on the wax paper. Now I'm opening up the packing paper that I'm going to use on the cover, spreading it out. I don't want to rub out too many of the wrinkles, but I do want it to be spread out well. I'm taking a mixture of white glue and water. I don't remember the recipe for this. I have 2 jars of it, and I just couldn't remember which recipe I used. But this is more like a Mod Podge type of mixture. So, but I will put the recipe of both that I've used in the description box below. If I can, I know I have one. If I can find the other one, I'll include that one too. But I think this one that I'm using now that's so watery is half water, half glue. And I generally use the Jot glue from Dollar Tree. I use a lot of Dollar Tree items when I'm making journals, like this spatula that I'm using. It's actually a makeup tool, and that is from Dollar Tree. And I really like the spatulas. It's a silicone tip. It's easy to clean. It's not like having a brush where you've just got to keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, and it still seems like you're not getting everything out of the brush. The spatula is easy to clean. You can even let the glue dry on here and just peel it off. But it's easy cleanup. So if you see these at the Dollar Tree and you do things like this, grab one or two. And this one seems to be holding up well. I've been using it for a while. So here I'm just spreading out the glue mixture, making sure that my chipboard is adhering. And then I'm going back and catching any areas that are not sticking or that I may have missed. So here I'm going to go ahead and miter my corners to make it easier to have a clean corner and fold over the excess paper, packing paper. So this is the other mixture. I think this is 1/3 cup of water to a cup of glue, something like that. Again, I will put the recipes in the description box below. And I don't remember the purpose of why I did 2 different mixtures, but I think one was for decoupage and then one, I don't know. I don't remember. But I really wanted to go ahead and use the one on the right hand side. I wanted to go ahead and finish using that. It was starting to dry out. So, and it's a little thicker, and I thought it would hold the folded over edges a little better than the more watery mixture. So here I am just continuing to add more of the glue mixture and folding over the flaps, making sure I get up under the edge of the chipboard. So here I'm just carefully folding the paper over, making sure I have a clean edge all the way around. And it is wet, which is to be expected. So now I'm just going to go over it again with the mixture that acts as like a decoupage, just to make sure that it's thoroughly saturated and sealed down. Because this mixture is so liquid, it is absorbing through the packing paper. The packing paper is not very thick at all. And also the mixture acts as somewhat of a sealant. So it does a lot of things. It's a glue, it's a decoupage type mixture, and it kind of seals as well. So I have some nice wrinkles going on here. I'm making sure I get down into the spine really well, the cracks in between the spine. So now I'm just going to take my heat tool and dry as much as I can. So here is some tissue paper that I received in some Happy Mail that I kind of been holding on to that I wanted to use. And I'm going to use a few pieces of this to add some more texture to the cover. And also the gold foil on the tissue paper will act like a resist to other treatments that I'm going to do on the cover. But here again, I'm using my mixture as like a decoupage to place the tissue paper. I'm going to tear this a little bit more. It's a little too big of a piece. And start working that down onto the cover. And I don't want a smooth look. I want it to be wrinkled and crumpled. And I'm using a spatula to kind of help wrinkle the tissue paper. This tissue paper was a really good quality tissue paper, and it was not wrinkling like tissue paper normally does. It's pretty strong. It didn't rip or tear or anything with all of the pushing it around. And here I'm just going over with more of the glue mixture to make sure everything is sealed down. And I'm coming back in with the heat gun to help this dry a little faster. So it's still a little damp, but this is what it looks like so far. And that is it for this part of creating the cover for the Halloween journal. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that little gray bell so that you'll receive notification each time I upload a new video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.